Hey everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well today. Welcome to the second episode of the series that I've started on YouTube, which is Watercolor Wednesday. And basically today we are going to be diving into brushes and specifically how they are used and what you can use these different brushes for. So let's jump right into it. Hey everyone, my name is Jawaria. You might know me from Instagram, from the Closet Planner, or maybe Mohan Studio if you are here on a Watercolor Wednesday. And basically what we do here on my channel is Wednesdays we sit down and we do watercolor stuff basically. Saturdays are more planned with me and planning videos, and that is how we have been doing it for like the past couple of weeks. So today I just wanted to jump right in and start talking about brushes and how you can use them. I did have a tutorial up in mind to post today, but I decided not to because I mean, if you are a beginner, I don't think you want a specific full-blown tutorial, and you would rather know what your supplies look like and work, I guess. So we are going to be doing that as well. So a couple of things that I want to get out of the way is that first of all, if you're hearing background noises, I am truly and deeply sorry for that. And yeah, it's just something that you will learn to live with on this channel. And the other thing is I just wanted to talk about basic supplies. Basically, I have here is the 12 piece Artify watercolor brushing set. But yeah, for watercolor gouache, acrylic gouache. Anyway, so this is like a 12 piece brush set, and it has basically everything you might need. You don't need all of these brushes, but I mean, it has the basic components, and yeah. And then I am going to be using this watercolor palette. I will link um these down below. Everything over here you see, I will link it down below and where you can get them. And if we can't get them, I will mention that this is like part of blah 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 blah. Okay, so this palette specifically, I didn't mention in my previous video. I took out the paints and I swapped them for some other paint, so that's what this is going on here. I like the compact size. I don't like bigger palettes sometimes. Then I do have water here, which you can see, and I have some scrap pieces of paper, which I'm going to be showing you how brushes work. And then here I have my trusty sketchbook, which I'm going to be like swatching out the brushes for you guys, and just to show you what brush does what, and to keep it all in like a sketchbook. And this is probably, this sketchbook is probably going to be making an appearance a lot because I'm going to dedicate this to just YouTube tutorials and stuff like that. And yeah, so I can have like all that stuff in one place, and if you need to, like if I need to go back, and I can just look back at that. Anyway, so let's just jump right in. And the first couple of brushes, so here, let me show you. So I did like this thing over here where it says I hope you can see it. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay, so it says brushes and how they work. So there are a few kinds of brushes. So first you have your liner brushes, you have your round brushes, which are probably my favorite. You have your flat brushes for doing flat washes. You have your filbert, you have your spotter, which is basically a round brush, but the bristles on it are smaller. You have a dagger brush, and you have a cat's tongue brush. These two I'm not too familiar with, but I do have, so I thought I would include them in there. They are more like novelty brushes, and you don't need them, you really don't, but you know, it's cool to have some different kind of brushes. So I'm gonna start off with the liner brushes and what it looks like and everything. So I think it's also called like a rigger brush. I'm not too familiar, so I'm gonna pull this out all the way. And these are new brushes, so I haven't really used them, but like all of them, the ones that I have used, I really like them. And this is something like I said in my previous video, invest in good paper, and then get like some brushes that are cheap but not too cheap, and then you can upgrade as you go along. So I'm going to be dipping my brush in water. So you can see the liner brush, it's really long. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like really long. Like you can see the bristles, it's really long. So what it does is I'm going to try to get a color which, you know, you can kind of see. And I already have water on my page. Okay, so what it does is basically, so I'm a lefty. I'm gonna go like this with it. See, you can get like really fine lines and with like minimum pressure. And if you put down a lot of pressure, this is what you get. So like if I was to put little pressure, this is how my line brush is gonna work. and then a lot of pressure. I'm going to put down, and then you get like a thicker line. Let me zoom in a bit. Hold on, let me zoom this in so you can see it better. You can see that. Okay, so you can see that better. And so this is basically what the liner brush does. And yeah, it's kind of handy to have, like, if you're doing some detail work, say you're doing buildings and you want some detail work in there, it would be really good to have this brush to draw like the little fine lines of the buildings and the windows and everything. And yeah, the thing that I do want to stress is that when you dip your water brush in water, so like I have my water here and then I dip it like this, so the longer the bristles are, the more water it's going to hold. And same thing, if it's a thicker brush, it's going to hold more water. So what you do want to do is you want to like wipe it down, and make sure to wipe down the ferrule over here. This part, the metal part, I'm not sure if this is metal or aluminum, but you know, wipe it down so like the water doesn't drip when you're trying to paint. Like if you can see it, yeah, so it would drip down, and then it would add more water to your bristles. Okay. So the next brush I'm going to be talking about, I'm not sure if you guys want like an example of what the liner brush would be used for. I mean, I'll do like a flower kind of painting and then I'll show you. So the second brushes that I have, so round brushes. I have a bunch of round brushes. I can't talk today. Ah, one fell. Okay, so this is like a size 6, and here we have a size 7. These come in a bunch of sizes. I think the largest one you can get is like a size 20. Hold on, let me pick up the one that fell. I'm gonna do this side. This is size 2. Okay. So I'm gonna use a size 6. I would use a size 10, but I don't have a size 10 in this set, so yeah. Let's do a different color. What color should we do? Let's do blue or teal. Okay, that color is really not vibrant. I'm trying to do vibrant colors so you guys can see what the brush actually does. Okay, so round brushes, again, if you put minimum pressure, it's gonna give you a really fine line. See, you can see the fine line over here. Let me do that again. Can you see it? Okay, let me put this up a little bit. Okay, so if you go like with minimum pressure, you're gonna get really fine lines. And again, this is good if you just want to use one brush throughout your whole painting. This really helps. And then same here with like adding pressure. See, you get like this really thick line. And that depends on how thick your brush is and stuff like that. See, if I did it with this brush, it would still give me... Okay, so I'm not liking this color. So like it would still give me this thin line, but like, see the thickness of it, because it's a smaller brush, it'll be not as thick as that one. So that is the thing of round brushes. So round brushes are usually used for making flower petals. Well, basically you can use them for anything, filling in stuff, and like I said, petals, flowers, leaves, and yeah, it's just the way you use your brush. Stippling effect you can get with a round brush, but the thing with round brush is I wouldn't suggest you do a stippling effect like this, or if you do that, set one brush aside for it, like making trees and stuff. And yeah, what else is there about round brushes? I love round brushes. They're my favorite because I can literally have a 6 or a 10 and I can do like a whole painting with it, which is kind of cool. So yeah, and then we have, okay, no, this is not the brush. Okay, wait, I thought I grabbed my other one. And then we have flat brushes. So let's get into flat brushes. So flat brushes, well, they're flat, and they do also come in a couple of different sizes. I don't really use these. I have been using them for like landscape, like a bigger one, but I use this one for landscapes because it kind of blends well. This is a filbert. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. So this is a filbert, and it's like I use it for like a wash. It's a size 15. But anyways, so I'm gonna be, well, I'll do both. No. So I'll start off with this one. So like, let me get, let me see what color is better. Okay, this is better color. Okay, so flat brushes would do this, like literally what it's told it's gonna do, the name implies. And then if you turn it to its side, it'll give you a pretty cool line like that. Okay, so my hand is shaking. You guys can draw straight lines. I applaud you for that. Same thing with the bigger one. So like the bigger would obviously go. Okay, this is so dry. So the bigger would obviously be bigger, and you could cover like large areas with this if you're doing a landscape. The sky specifically is what I would suggest use it for. And then if you were to like draw lines like this, it'll be a thicker line, but you know, you can get away with it. So that is what I would do flat brushes. Flat brushes are also cool for doing like rocks in mountains and stuff like that. That would be kind of cool as well. I will put like examples and stuff. Okay, so for flat brushes, you can totally make like mountains and rocks and stuff like that with them. Do like sky washes, bigger washes in areas. Get the bigger the brush is, it'll cover a bigger area. And yeah. Okay, so the next brush, it is not part of the 12 brush set that I mentioned, but this is a Princeton Neptune. Right, it's a Princeton, no, it's not a Princeton Neptune, it's a Princeton Velvet Touch. And I don't know how I feel about this one. Yeah, I just don't. This is size 6, but it's a filbert brush. And let's see, so not really familiar with filbert except for that big one. But it's like good for blending and stuff like that. Of course you weren't able to see that, but let me do it here. Okay, so filbert brushes are good for blending like rounded areas and stuff like that, I believe. I'm not too familiar with these brushes, but like I said, I have used the bigger one for doing washes, and I think it's pretty cool. So I will swatch that one as well. And this is if it's on its side, it is a really fine line. I think you can make flowers as well. I'm going to try to make a flower. It's going to be like a really horrible flower, but I'm going to try to make one. And the big one, of course, this one is a size 15, so it's really huge. But you can see like how nicely it would cover up a bunch of area and just, you know, blend as well. You can also have it like turned to the side and create mountains, like if you're doing a totally abstract kind of watercolor art or something. So that is that. And yeah, okay, let me find that spotter brush that I was talking about. So I believe this is still around. Maybe this one. So it's like a size 3 round. It's called a size 3 round, but I think it could pass for like a spotter brush. The bristles are usually shorter. I think it would have to be a little shorter, so like about here to pass. But we'll just look at this. Maybe this one. No, this one has longer. Let me look for one. Maybe I might have one. So let me look for one, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I couldn't really find one that I would call that I would probably call as a spotter brush, but yeah, the main concept of it is that it has smaller bristles than a round brush, but I believe the function would be the same, to create softer lines and thicker lines like this. So yeah. And again, you can probably just use it for filling in, like, main details and stuff like that. Just have fun with it. Like, you can go really thin. And just, you know, play around with your brushes, and yeah. Okay, now the two fun ones, which are the dagger brush and the cat stung. So let's talk about the dagger one. This is literally the only dagger brush I have. and this is from Emma Lefebvre, her subscription box that has been going out. And yeah, it's a pretty cool brush. I'm not sure how I totally feel about it because I haven't really used it much, but it's cool to have. I really like it. And of course it can do the bigger washes like this. So the key to this brush is that one side is like, so it's like, it looks like a dagger if you look at it. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, see, like this part is a little pointy and then it curves down like that, so it kind of looks like a dagger. So let's see what happens if we do a little straight line. And again, this brush is used for like making leaves and petals and stuff like that. It's a cool, really neat brush. You can go really thin, or you can go, you know, this one can actually go like this as well, so it's like interesting. So I'm not sure really how to use this brush, but you know, you'll learn along with me. And the last one I have on here is a cat's tongue, which is like this, and it's called a cat's tongue because it looks like a cat's tongue. And like it goes like this. And this is a brush I've been wanting for like a while, and I found it in this one, which is basically why I bought this set, the Artify one, which is why I really bought it. And it's kind of cool because it goes like this. See? You can get like that really long, deep line. And let's see something. If I was to like put it on its side, it would give me like this really flat, thin line. So that is something to think about as well. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the examples of how some of these brushes work and how you can use them in your composition, how you can use them to basically help you. So what I think is really important is to find a brush that works for you. So like round brushes, that works for me. So I usually tend to grab a round brush. And for washes, I've been really loving this one. So I've been just going to it, you know, kind of distinctively, like this is the one that I want. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side. I'm going to grab some scrap pieces of paper. And the first thing is I'm going to show you how to use the round brush because it's something I'm comfortable with, and yeah, it'll make me look like I know stuff. Okay, so basically I have a bunch of red here, so let's just do a little rose. So what I would do is I would make like these C curves like this, trying to leave white space. And see, I'm using the point of the brush and I'm holding on to like the closest I can get to the brush and the bristles. And then here I'm going to start, you know, fanning them out a bit. I'm going to add more water and less color to fan them out a bit more. And then with roses, you want to like have them overlap, but you don't also want them to overlap, if that makes sense. You want to leave a lot of white space. Not a lot of white space, I would say. You want to leave some white space and just, you know, play around. Play around with your brushes and figure out what works for you. Move the paper around. And just, you know, kind of have things flow. Add color here, where it needs to be, and just stuff like that. And yeah, you'll eventually get the hang of it. And okay, so basically that's how you would use a round brush. You can also do like leaves and mix some color here. So how I would do leaves is I would start off with the pointy part, add pressure, curve a little, and then there you go. And then for like a second leaf, the second part, I would do the same thing, and curve towards the other way where you have a leaf. Cover it up a little, add some texture. Same thing, pointed part, bring it out a little, lift. I hope you can see this okay if you can. And then something back the other way. So something like that would be really cool with the round brush. You can also do like eucalyptus leaves. So make the what do you call it? The stem, I guess. The stem of the and then just create like round petals. Stagger them a bit so it doesn't look like, you know, it's forced, because nothing in nature is forced. It's imperfect and it's beautiful like that. So you can do a lot with these kind of round brushes. And it's raining outside, which is perfect because, you know, all the cars and the noise is going to come inside. So yeah, this is something you can do. And let's try this. I'm going to use the smaller one actually, just because I don't want to waste a lot of paper. And I'm going to show you how to do like a little landscape. So if you had a paper and you were doing like a landscape situation, so let me just get some blue. So what I would do is, you know, you wet your paper, you'd have a bunch of this kind of blue situation going on here. Let me do it a little bit more like this. Can you see it? Yeah, okay. You'd have like this whole blue situation going on here, which would help you create like a whole sky area. If you obviously, if I was to cover up the whole paper, I would use a bigger brush, and yeah, that would totally help me. And then what I could do with this one specifically, let me add a little darker color to it. And what I would do is I would use like the bottom part of it to create mountains like this. See, like it kind of fades into the sky. And yeah, that is something you could try as well. Like, see, it's kind of fading into the sky. It looks like mountains. It's more abstract. You can do the same thing with dry, with yeah, wet on dry, and make mountains like that. It doesn't have to be wet on wet. You can use a flat brush for that. See, you have some mountains there. And you can also do this with a round brush. Like, don't think you can't do it with a round brush, because you totally can. So round brush, and the round brush will give you more control, make the lines a little more jagged. That's the look you're going for, more like a mountainy kind of look. So that's that. And then we have the liner brush, which was this one. This is cool because you can make like grass, like really distinct grass. So I would go like this, honestly. Like, you can't even see it because it's so tiny. But yeah. See, it'll give you like this grass situation here. Like that. And let's say you drew, I don't know, you drew a flower. Let's see, what color should I use? Let's just use, I'm gonna use a light color so you can actually see the liner brush when I do it on top. So let's say you did like a flower. This is a really bad example of flower, but you know, educational purposes. And then we'll get some black. And then when it's dry, I'm just going over it when it's like wet, but when it's dry, you could like totally outline it like this. And you know, it gives it the whole other feel, like lined look. And yeah, and you could do all kinds of stuff with that. You can do like really fine Okay, it's still wet. You can do like really fine lines in your buildings, like that. Obviously, you know, not a good example. I don't do buildings and stuff like that, but you know, you get the idea. So yeah. And then what brush did I miss? The filbert. So this is like a good one. Hold on. So see, you have a circle here. Okay. You really want to fill it in. And because this has like a rounded, yeah, so this has like a rounded edge over here, what you can do is it'll really help you like fill it in all the way. And you can like make a fan out. Obviously, bad example, I should have drawn this with a pencil. But you get the idea of what these brushes can do. These are also good for blending. So like if you want to blend those colors a little more, like the seamless kind of blend, so that'll do that for you. And I'm not sure, yeah, okay. And then I'm not gonna go too in depth and with the dagger and the cat stung because I really don't know how to use them. But I was playing around with the cat stung, and it does these really beautiful leaves. So like if I was to go like this and then put pressure and then twist my brush, it does this. Same thing. If I was to put pressure, like start off with minimal pressure, and then as you're graduating down, put pressure on it and then twist your brush, it gives you really nice petals. Like something like tulip flower petals kind of. And yeah, I kind of like that look sometimes when I'm doing some florals. But obviously I need more practice with this brush. And yeah. So that is basically what I have going on. I'm not sure if you saw the liner brush. Let me do that again, just, you know, because I don't think you saw it. You might not have seen it, and I really do want you to get like the most out of this video. So a liner brush, if you drew a flower, you can line it, and this would be a better example because now it's like lining it and not blending it to the orange part. And you can totally do it like this. Like that. And it'll give you like the liney look. If you wanted to add like details, you can also use that liner brush to add like details in your leaves, your flowers, and stuff like that. And even like little details in your landscape, you can do that. Like if you wanted to add some mounts. Okay, that it's not still dry, wet. But if you wanted to add like lines in your mountains, you can totally use this. And just, yeah, play around with your brushes. That's my suggestion to like getting to know your brushes. I will link these down below if you wanted to like try these out for yourself and see what brush is what, and like just play around with a couple of variety. And yeah, other than that, that is it for me for today. I really hope you got something out of this video because I tried to make it as educational as possible, and just for you beginners out there, because I know when I was starting out, I really didn't have any I guess tips like this. I know most people start off watercolor, they just dive into full-blown tutorials, and I'm like, what is this? Because A, I didn't know how to draw, and most likely you don't either, but that's okay. And B, I didn't know the technique means. Like, I don't know what a flat wash was, or I don't know what a wet on wet was. I mean, I was doing it, but obviously if you're like explaining the technique, you should like kind of show an example and stuff like that before doing whatever. And yeah, so with that being said, I really hope you got something out of this video. I probably will be making a bit more educational videos. I know I said I was going to do tutorials in my first video, but I think this is more important than to letting you letting you understand your materials, your brushes, and your paints and paper, and just playing around with those before you actually sit down to create like a composition, or you actually sit down to create a watercolor painting. So with that being said, if you have anything in mind, like what you want the next video to be, leave it in the comments down below, or else we're just gonna get into like swatching and maybe a little bit of color theory, analogous colors, complementary colors and stuff like that, the color wheel basically. And yeah, if you did like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are new. I do this every Wednesday, and I am trying to hold my ground into doing this every Wednesday. So I hope you really enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.